Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition. You guessed it, it's day 229. That's 229er, consecutive days of RobLynn Live with Ollie, the
Wonder Dog.
Today is Tuesday, April the 4th, 2023. And as we mentioned, you're watching and you're listening, hopefully. Hello, Eric Kessler. I think I said hello to everybody but Eric, and and Frank as well. Anyway, today's events, Tuesday's events, had an 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Conductor Chris Johnson. He had his words of wisdom. 12 p.m. brought along Pop Marty DeGarmo, maybe a couple of minutes tardy. He continued with his very own words of inspiration. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Grandpa Red Redfern came along with his usual updates and words of inspiration. Then at 4 o'clock, we had a couple of folks on at 4. We had Pat Parent. She gave her words of inspiration, which are very nice. She does that, I think, every day or almost every day. And when she's feeling up to it, and we hope you're feeling well today, Pat Parent.
Love you, Pat.
4 p.m. brought along Sister Comfort Confor with Collins Mana and Fumi with an overview of OnPassive, which kind of leads into what we're going to be speaking of briefly this evening.
It's really good too.
Before our guests come on, we do have a couple of guests, maybe 3 guests, maybe 4. We're not sure yet. Well, at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and you know what's coming your way now. It's everybody's favorite 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time evening chat, known as RobLynn Live with Ollie,
the Wonder Dog,
where we try to didn't even get 2 sentences out, where we try to provide value for you all, at least a little bit of value.
Value and fun.
Value and a little bit of fun, a little bit of chit chat. We're going to want to hear from you guys tonight in the chat about our topic. And hello to Karina, who I didn't see before, Jean, who I didn't see before, and Doma and Babine, oh my goodness, and Jeff and Tanya, and Judy Oliver, oh my good, and Les Hudson, holy smokes.
Wow.
Going to have a good crowd tonight. As of this hour, we do not have any information reference our next O Connect. I did check with brother Pop DeGarmo, Marty, and let's see, our next O Connect, which will be enjoyed through our OES. You must be in OES with an O mail to join in with a simple click. No link, no password requirement. Once you're in OES, you'll see the O Connect icon, and boom, baby, boom, away you go.
Cool.
All right. All that will be needed is an OES login, as we said, and away we go. Like Jackie Gleason always said, to the moon, Alice. And similarly, our Ash Mufareh says,
to the new top.
And beyond.
And beyond.
All right. So we have an extremely lovely virtual background this evening provided by Miss Davina Lee, our beautiful graphic designer extraordinaire.
It's so pretty, honey.
Please wait. It is very nice tonight. Please wait for the bell and then give us your guesses, please, on where is Ollie Boy. And we're gonna move. No, we didn't ring the bell yet, so no guesses
Don't
yet.
Guess yet.
So I'm gonna go to the side. Lynn will go to the side, and you can see. Ooh, that's a very, very nice building. A couple of buildings. Wow.
Your shirt is in the picture. There we go.
I can't go any further. All right. And let's see. Ollie's got a calculator, and it looks like paper and pencils.
Like a laptop.
And laptop.
Right there. Yeah,
oh,
laptop.
We've each got a laptop. Wow. It looks like, I don't know what it looks like.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it, like Marty says. Tonight's topic. Oh, no. First off, please pray for anyone you know who may be ill or not feeling so well or having had an accident and is on the recovery. And also, please pray for Ash and his family as well as which includes these two handsome young men, as well as the folks working on our behalf in points all over the world. Tonight's topic, and we do have one, don't we?
We have one every night.
That's true. And tonight's topic is true freedom. What are your plans? Not what are our plans, which we'll mention briefly, but what are your plans? So be thinking about that. Be thinking about putting that in the chat, and just hold off on Where's Ollie the Wonder Dog till we ring the bell, which will be in a few minutes. Wow, Lynn, what a grand topic. What do you think? Tell us about it, what you think about that topic. We talk about it all the time.
What are our plans?
True freedom.
Let's talk about what true freedom is first, okay?
All right, we'll do that as we rumble towards the introduction of our first paid product, which is coming our way in just days, and it's known as O Connect. We'll be connecting to the world, connecting the internet's audio-visual webinar and meeting users with a simple click of a button. What do you think of that?
Love it.
And unlimited attendees, hashtag Ash Mufareh, and no cap, hashtag Ash Mufareh. Who else?
Awesome.
Just what will the kickoff of $1 billion on its own volition platform do for the 1,400,000 plus founders, brand ambassadors? What do you think as far as what is all that going to do? $1 billion operation with one paid for product.
Well, it's going to change webinar platforms for the rest of our eternity, because we've got something that nobody else has. You know, the features, the clarity, and all of that. No cap on number of attendees. All of that is breaking new ground, right?
There's Mike Ellis.
And as that, there, Mike Ellis is in the studio. He'll come in very shortly. So
just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so it's going to make a huge difference in how we run use webinars.
Right.
I think a lot of people will see the light. They're going to see the strengths of O Connect, as well as the value that you get when you purchase O Connect. And it's going to be irresistible to the world.
And so our first product's going to be a $1 billion situation.
Eventually much more than that. But starting with, $1 billion valuation. But,
well, for those of you who've been toiling at a typical 9 to 5 work grind or a 3 to 11 evening shift that comes with little rest, or 11 to 7, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., which I worked many years, the night shift, the dreaded night shift, it provides for little to no rest at all, and very little fun, if I might add.
Little bit of fun.
Little bit? Okay.
Not much.
Not much when you're working nights.
Nope.
And overly tired?
I bet. Exhaustion all the time, right?
Yeah. And having been there, we both can tell you it wasn't any fun, wasn't much fun, and certainly offered very little true
freedom.
Right on. Well, what exactly is true freedom in life? We're glad you asked. True freedom, as defined by RobLynn Live, and we do have our own definition, is having time freedom to go places, to do things you have never been able to do, such as traveling anywhere you want, at any time you want, and be at your kids' ball games, should you have any kids, recitals, ballet performances, plays, graduations, and attend your choice of religious services when you were working on Sunday or Saturday or Friday nights. Made it difficult. So just to name a few, and what comes with time freedom is a lack of stress. And we're all looking for less stress in our lives.
Definitely.
Makes us even happier. And now, a real biggie when it comes to true freedom, the number 2 component. What is it?
Besides the time freedom?
Time freedom?
Is the money freedom. The financial freedom. That's a big thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, have you ever wondered or worried about that monthly budget? We have. And I'm sure others out there in radio land.
It's part of most people's lives.
Yeah. And how to pay Peter and Paul without putting a certain bill or financial obligation on the shelf for a month. Oh, yes. And how about that increasingly expensive item of putting groceries
And I'm
on the
sure
table.
everybody's experiencing it with this recession. Prices
Right.
are going up. You're getting the same thing, but you're paying more for it, right?
True,
Yeah.
true. And how about piling on, such as things that pile on for us, like insurance,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be medical insurance, health insurance, I should say, auto, homeowners insurance.
Oh.
You know, for us old fogies, maybe a Medicare supplement.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, house payments, rent payments, you name it. They're due every month. Every
No
month.
fun, man. No fun.
Electric and gas utilities, education expenses if we've got kids that go into private school or even in college
Mm-hmm.
and beyond. How about medical care for yourself if you don't have insurance? That
Mm-hmm.
can put a damper on things. Well,
Definitely.
enter the wonderful world of the OnPassive movement. What do you think about OnPassive?
It's a global movement. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's a global movement for sure, and it will set us all free. Some a little sooner than others, sooner than later, but all founders, brand ambassadors, OnPassivians will have true freedom,
Mm-hmm.
time and financial.
That's for sure.
Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
I thought you would. Well, our plans, in the interest of our usual transparency, include a little bit of travel, maybe a zip code change or two, maybe a couple of new vehicles, or maybe one new vehicle, a newer wardrobe for not just Lynn, Nakamoto, and the Mad Hatter, but of course our families and our friends. And once our card is full, what are we going to do?
We're going to help others.
We're going to help others, and it equates to spendability. We will uplift humanity the best we can, when we can, and as much as we can. And now, I think that's enough from you and I, don't
That's
you?
enough.
All right. I think we need to bring our panelist in. Mike is first here, so come on down, Mike. Say hello.
Mike is here.
Glad
Hi,
you're.
everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're coming in loud and clear.
Yeah. Marty said you were coming on and you'd be crazy as usual, so I fit right in.
We all
Well,
fit
you
in.
make a little more sense than I do. So
No,
we
I
do.
don't know about that.
So we're talking true freedom, which, as you know, Ash has talked about for some time now, and
Mhm.
that's both time freedom and financial freedom, which I think we're all going to be looking at.
That's for sure. So we were just talking about what true freedom means, the definition of it, and I guess I'm sure you know what that is. We talk about it all the time, but what does that mean to you? What is going to be happening to the people here in our group today? What we want to hear what they have to say. What are your plans? We would love to hear what your
Um,
plans
we all have our plans as OnPassive comes in and everything starts to roll, which is this month, starting this week. And the last, I don't know, maybe the last 3 or 4 days, I've had something that has just been on my mind over and over and over and over again. And it's just a little phrase that I've heard several times in my life. And it has to do with freedom. Literally, what does freedom look like to you and how do you get it? And the phrase that's been coming to me is that fatigue makes cowards of us all. And it really can pertain to anything in life, whether it's athletic, whether it's business, whether it's family, whatever it is. And if you look at it in an athletic sense, fatigue is one of those things when an athlete gets it, they're done. It's over. And that's why they train. They train so that when they compete, the fatigue doesn't overwhelm them and they can beat the competition. But it's the same thing with business, with really relationships, really anything in life. It really is apropos. Fatigue will make cowards of all of us. And what goes through my mind, obviously I'm passive, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I think about Marty DeGarmo and Dan Street. Most people, whatever they're doing in life, when you get to that point, where you've just been beat down so much, the fatigue sets in, and most people will try and find a comfortable spot where they can settle in and just get by. And obviously for you and I, that's not freedom. That's not how you get to that place where you have that financial freedom, where you have that time freedom, where you have the ability to have mobility and be able to do what you want to do. But that's what happens with most people. Now, Marty and Dan are exceptional, and they've helped me get past some rough spots many, many, many times. But these two individuals, yes, the fatigue has been there, and it's been there not for a year or two, but it's been there for over a decade. And they have the mindset and the fortitude to work through whatever they're working on and get past that fatigue point. And I think the really important part of that is they have the ability to work through whatever they're going through. And over the last 10 years, 15 years, it's been really, really hard. If you didn't have that attitude, it would have been really, really difficult to move forward. And Marty and Dan, they would get to a point, something would happen, they'd get beat down, they'd get back up, they'd do it again, and they'd take the skill sets that they've learned and transfer it from here to here to here. Now, this is over a decade, guys. Think about this, doing it for a decade. Most people do not have the inclination to do that. They don't want to go through that. It's just really, really hard. And what it did is it brought all of us to OnPassive. Now, let's talk about OnPassive for just a second. We are so fortunate to be in OnPassive because Mr. Mufareh, for the last 4 years, has taken that fatigue factor out, totally out. Now, thank God it was Ash Mufareh, because it's do it or die. That's his attitude, do it or die. And over the last 4 years, some of the things I can't talk about, there have been so many things that Ash has had to get over, been beat down, gotten up, beat down, gotten up. And because of who he is, he's actually gotten to a point where it's a done deal. OnPassive is where it is today because Ash got past that fatigue, that fatigue area. Fatigue makes cowards of all of us. That was not Ash Mufareh. He was not going to let that happen. He was going to push through everything he had to push through, and he has. Now, when it pertains to you and I as brand ambassadors of OnPassive, you really need to think about this. If you had to do everything that Mr. Mufareh has done, or everything that Marty and Dan have done, it's a very, very small club. Most people are not going to do that. They're not going to spend that much time chasing their dream. It's really, life gets in the way, family gets in the way, work gets in the way, everything gets in the way. It's a really, really hard thing to do. But because Mr. Mufareh has done what he's done, it takes that fatigue factor out. You know, when you come into OnPassive, that liberty and freedom is going to be there. You know, at least you should know, and if you don't know, right now, I'm telling you, financial independence is coming, and coming very, very quickly. So you don't have to go through all of that, all of those things that you have to go through if you don't have an Ash Mufareh. But fortunately, we have Mr. Mufareh, we have OnPassive, we have the corporate side of OnPassive, and we have each other as brand ambassadors of OnPassive. So we're in a really, really unique position, and really take it to heart, not having to go through that fatigue factor, because it will make a coward out of you. I know that as a fact. Luckily, I had Marty and Dan always pushing up, always pushing up. You don't have to go through that. You don't have to go through a decade or more as Marty and Dan did. You don't have to go through. And when I say 4 years with Mr. Mufareh, it's not 4 years. It's probably 2 decades. And it's a progression of learning and understanding and getting to the place where, yeah, I can do this now, and doing it, and then getting through all those shortfalls that he had to go through over the last 4 years. So we're in a really, really great place. I think freedom is a really, really good topic tonight because freedom is exactly what's coming your way. And in whatever flavor you have it in, however you see it, that can be yours. It can be your lifestyle. And that's a really, really good place to be, to have that liberty to live the life you want to live. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about the last few days is that fatigue factor, and how most people, they don't have the time or the inclination to go through that fatigue factor. And in the end, as many of us know, it makes cowards of you, whether it's athletic, whether it's business, whatever it is. The last thing I'll end with is how some people get past that fatigue factor. And I thought about Jerry Rice, and Jerry Rice was a receiver in the NFL, probably one of the best receivers in the NFL. And what Jerry Rice did every day, he had a hill that he ran. Why did he run it? Because as he got into the game, as he started to compete, he wanted to have such great conditioning that fatigue was something that would never be there. And because of that, he became one of the best wide receivers that's ever played the game. That is Ash Mufareh. He's gotten past that fatigue factor. He does not get tired. He does not wear down. He's always there. He's always going to go forward. And it is do it or die. And with Ash Mufareh, it's not die. He's going to get it done because of who he is, how smart he is, the heart he has, and the team he's put around him. Really, really something that's rare and extraordinary. And all of us today, all of us, we are champions. Why? Because we're in OnPassive. And that was your decision. That was your decision. And it's the best decision you ever made. And you should take credit for that. You did that. Now let OnPassive go to work for you, and we're going to have some fun over the next couple of weeks. So I'll start there. If you want me to keep going, I can, Lynn and Rob.
We'll bring Marty in for a couple of minutes. I don't know if he heard what you were saying, those compliments about how Dan and Marty, whenever you were down, so to speak, they kind of gave you that push towards the top, which is good stuff. That's what team and family are all about. What do you say, Marty?
You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're good now. You're not muted.
How about now?
Great.
Now is good. Now is good.
I had to turn off this headset, Mike. It doesn't work right. I had to put on the computer. Anyway, yeah, Mike's right, but he also he needs to add something. This thing about building each other up, he did it as much as any one of us too. I mean, there was times that were bad. I mean, we built systems with tape, glue, paper, string. No, it's no joke. I mean, we did stuff on, but I was talking to Mike the other day, and Dan, during the time that you're doing that, as long as you don't quit, like Mike said, fatigue will make cowards of you. There was a great statement made actually by the coach of Miami. He brought up about fatigue, and he said the exact words: "It'll make cowards of you." And when I heard that a couple of years ago, I went, "The freak does that mean?" But you got to let stuff settle in. You understand what he's saying. You want to do it, but you can't. You were beat down. You just can't do it. And like Jerry Rice, I know the hill Mike's talking about. He would bring people there. They say, "What do you do?" "I do that," and they could not do it. Almost everybody he brought, so other people started doing it because he was in such good shape. But seriously, I mean, when we did get together, and you find out the worst thing about MLM, and the reason OnPassive is so great, like Mike said, if you're fortunate enough that the first business you ever saw was OnPassive, the light has shined on you, okay? Because it's not that way. Well, when I got on, I was by myself, and then thank God, and I believe thank God that I ran into Mike, and Mike knew Dan, and the rest is history. But you find, because there was no pride, we found our lane. I automatically did what I enjoyed. Mike automatically, I don't know if he enjoyed it, but he did what needed to get done But after he did it enough, because he's bullheaded, Mike is one of the most bullheaded individuals on the planet. I say that with all due respect, but he does not quit. He does not quit. I've seen him do 5 videos to get one right. Really, no joke. And that you need that. Well, we found out every time we flipped over a rock every 3 years that we found out something we didn't know. And it makes you go, you got to be kidding. And while you're doing that, you have these people you're bringing into a business and you're going, I know they don't know. So we had to stop, build a system to try to help people to move them up with us. It just got frustrated as you couldn't believe it. And by the time we even got going, the company we were in would fold. Like, and this went on over and over and over and over. And right towards the end, I don't know what we're going to do. And OnPassive came. And that's why you see me, the 400-pound cheerleader for OnPassive is, I don't forget the crap that happened before I got here. I can't forget that. And I really want people to know, like Mike said, all of that hard stuff is gone in OnPassive. I don't care who you are. In OnPassive, you're an expert automatically. You put money in, you can buy extra traffic, whatever you do, you're an expert. Ash made it so that you are the main driver of your own destiny. And that is unbelievable. That is priceless to me. Priceless. And what does it mean? Freedom and time freedom? It means you don't have to think about it. You get up in the morning and your alarm clock is just to tell you you have all day to do what you want instead of, I got to get here or I got to get there. I know I worked swing shift. I worked 3 to 11, 11 to 7, 7 to 3 for 10 years. Then I went on midnight shift. Then I went on 3 to 11 shift, another 10 years. It was rough. There was many, many holidays I was at work. And then the more I moved up, the more responsibility, the more time I was at work. So, but yeah, I always believed in MLM. But when I found when OnPassive found us, I need to say, and we really started to realize what it is, we were so hyped up in this business. Mike was doing videos that weren't true. And I don't mean weren't true. They weren't true yet. And that's the most phenomenal thing. I've looked at old videos and we were telling stories that we didn't know. When you look at the pieces of OnPassive and how Ash talks, we just kept building this block in our head, this picture, and thank God above we were right. Because sometimes we were pushing a little too far ahead, but it worked out. I mean, I don't think it was by accident. We saw something really big. We didn't know what it was, but it's the first business, I said this all week long, first business in my entire life, 63 years, that is bigger than I thought it was. In fact, I can say that every month that I've been in. I can't name any other thing I've ever done that I can say that. Never. They always go downhill. As soon as you join, it starts going downhill. And with this, it's every day's Christmas. I mean, I don't know what next is coming to open, but every day is Christmas. But time freedom, listen, we all get 168 hours a week. No more, no less. The hour clock is running. When the sand runs out, we're leaving this planet. And there's some people that never get to live. The most treasure is in cemeteries of people that died and never really lived. And OnPassive is a platform where I believe true freedom is not only making the money so you don't have to think about it, having the freedom to spend time on what you desire, but the craziest thing is you can build an empire on something that you love. That's bizarre. You can take a passion and walk into OnPassive and build an empire. And people say, oh, you're crazy. You damn right I'm crazy. Because I see the little bit I see, the little 1%, 2%, I don't see any limit in anything that you want to do. In fact, it drives me insane to hear people say something so small. Well, what happens if the second month I don't have my 3? I'm thinking, why did you ask me that? I mean, it's almost like, where have you been? You mean you're 300? You mean you're 3,000? What, 3 people, you mean? Well, what company did you join? Now, and I'm not saying everybody's going to be a millionaire in one day. That's not going to happen. But with a little bit of effort, and I'm talking about effort and stuff you already do, and we're still talking about time freedom, why not enhance it? Why not leverage what you already do? So, well, I'm not a marketer. I don't give a rat's ass. I know one thing. When you see a good deal, you share it. The difference is when you share a movie, MGM doesn't send you a check. If you share OnPassive, you're going to get commission. And they're going to share it. Why? Because it's good news. Don't tell them they're a marketer. Don't even whisper it. Because once they know they're not marketing, they're going to share it with everybody that walks in their life. I guarantee it. I guarantee I'm never going to mention the word, hey, do you want to be a marketer? Nope, no thanks. People will come to you and say, hey, can I make money sharing this? Absolutely. Boom. I'm not looking for marketers. I don't need to be a marketer. OnPassive took that away. I'm looking for people that love it. Once they see it, they say, oh, I got to tell somebody. You build your team that way. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. But time freedom, only company you can get time freedom. Out of all the ones I've ever seen, there's some that give you a glimpse of time freedom. But I'm telling you, I know guys that make big money online. Big money. Know some of them personally. If they stop marketing for 2 months, they will have to sell everything they own. With OnPassive, if you share it and you bring them in and they're part of you forever, think about that for a minute. Think about that. Think about the 400 you shared and think about the 200 they shared and think about the 200 they shared and think about the 500 they shared. Think about the companies that are coming in from OnPassive. Think about the companies that come in from marketing. And then ask me, am I going to get my 3 next month? Okay. Anyway, that's all I have right now.
Well, let's roll it on over to Collins. Good morning, I guess it is there in UK.
Very good morning to you, all of you. Maddie and Mike. Lynn just checking and saying, are you coming? Maddie is here, Daddy. Mike is here. I said, all right, I'm coming. If they are here, I'm coming. Yeah, so I listened to Mike and, Maddie, it's really great people to hang around with because of their experience, especially when it comes to everything they have been doing. Honestly, we really owe them as OnPassive, very big deal respect. I believe one of the first video which I share was from Mike. When I joined OnPassive, the first video I ever had was Mike video, and I share it very wide. I say, you know what? If you want to know about OnPassive, I don't need to tell you. This is a very good video to watch, and I still have some of them. The one I shared, I still have a lot of them. As you know, Maddie rightly said, you don't need to be a marketer to be part of OnPassive. I'm a very lazy person. I joined OnPassive because I'm lazy, and OnPassive is for those who are really lazy. You can't market, you can't just come to OnPassive because they will do everything for you. Looking at marketing is very difficult. If you listen to what Mike and Dan and Maddie have said, it's not easy because 95% always fail. And why should I join something knowing that I will fail? I know I can never succeed in marketing. Why should I even put a dime? Because even the little I did, not even marketing, I traded a little bit before joining OnPassive. I lost, made little money, but I lost big deal of money. And the next day I joined OnPassive, just to tell you how difficult it is to make money online. It's not easy. I lost a lot. And the next day, OnPassive made me, they share it with me. And when I look at OnPassive, I notice that normally this is an IT technology company, and you can never get it wrong when it comes to IT technology. The first thing is, Mr. Mufareh, I always said this, Mr. Mufareh doesn't need founders to be the world richest man. the slightest IT, the tiny IT company always make money because people approach them. They don't approach others. If you can develop a very good product, they will approach you. And when they approach you, they say, can you do this for us? You do it, they will spread the news and say, go to that company. They are the one that can build a perfect solution for your issues. So just imagine if an IT company said, I need 100,000 people and I can share the wealth with them. You don't need to market. You don't need to do anything. People will come, I will build the solution, sell it, and give you something small for you to go and live with your family. How many of us will say no? This is OnPassive given to us on a silver platter by Mr. Ash Mufareh. Said, come and share. You know, you don't need to do anything because what I'm building, the world will need it. They will rush for it. And I can share some of these goodies with you. And a lot of founders take it as joke. No IT company has ever failed. Normally, not in my life in IT. They always change. People buy it over. Sometimes the CEO say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm going to a new business. And someone will just buy it and change the name. But they still make so much money, you know. But how much do they even share with those who are even working? Even the employees, they don't even get nothing. But you see the money coming. But this is Mr. Ash Mufareh coming with so many products. All the products are all in the market. Guess what? Wanted to share with us for nothing, for doing nothing. It's like someone open a shop, build a warehouse, tell you just come and stock your shelf. You stock your shelf, the key is there, and he said, don't worry, I will bring customers for you, sell everything, and then say, you know what, this is money for you, take it and go home. How many of you will say no? They do everything for you, open a big shop, put everything, and said, don't worry, I will sell it for you. And you will just walk away with financial freedom for you and your family. You know, that's the best things that have ever happened. Honestly, those parts I always sleep. When I think about this, I was talking to Oliver, and I was just like, Oliver, do you know what Mr. Ashmore have just done to us? Open a big supermarket and not only open it and say, you go and look for customers. Don't worry, you go to sleep. I will bring customers, sell everything. Just come and pull the safe. How much you find, they take it and walk away with it. I will do the hard work for you. That's the most easiest thing. And if someone said, I cannot go and open that safe and take my money, walk away, then I think you're making a big mistake. Because then just go and look. I don't know. If you cannot do this and you say it's difficult, then I'm telling you, you will never be successful in this world. Just go, as Maddie said, the only place you can rest is in your grave. So honestly, I don't know what to say. It's just a nice feeling hearing from Maddie, you know, Mike and everyone. Honestly, it's a good feeling. I'm just happy to be here with you guys.
Glad you're here. Back to you, Mike. I know you were making notes on what Marty was saying.
I always take notes when Marty's talking. And if you're not taking notes, you should.
Right.
You know, half the stuff he says is relevant. If you don't take notes, I forget things. So yeah, no, I take notes when Marty's talking. I take notes when Colin's speaking. I think what Colin said was absolutely terrific. And as I listen to these two guys, and I think about OnPassive, and you think about freedom. Well, the one thing Mr. Mufareh has brought to all of us is the freedom to be successful. And you hear that term and you're going, well, what exactly does that mean? The freedom to be successful. If you look at other businesses around the internet, I don't care what they are, there is so much propaganda that comes at us, and you hear it over and over and over, and people start to believe the propaganda that these people are feeding us. And propaganda can be deadly. It can put you in your grave, literally. OnPassive gives us the freedom to succeed, but it's more than that. Not only do they give us the freedom to succeed, but they tell us how. It's what Collins has been talking about. It's what Marty's been talking about. If you listen to Ash Mufareh, I mean, if you listen to the last webinar and you're sleeping, I don't know how. I'm not sleeping at night after Ash's last webinar. There are so many tools within OnPassive, and I realize many of you don't know how to use those tools yet. And I say yet, because as time goes on, we're going to show you very, very simple things that you can do to get to that place where you have that freedom, that financial freedom, that time freedom, the liberty to do the things you want to do. That is OnPassive. That is what Ash Mufareh has preached for the last 4 years. If you've listened, I mean, Marty, Dan, and I, the first time we talked to Mr. Mufareh, and this was 4 years ago, we got on and we were going to interview Ash because we didn't know Ash. We had no clue who he was, and Marty was going to grill him. About 5 minutes, it all turned around, and Ash, he was interviewing us. But it got so much better than that, because after he got done with that, he started to talk about his vision, which you've heard today from Collins and from Marty and from RobLynn. You've heard it today. And when Marty, Dan, and I heard that for the first time, we were completely silent. I mean, I couldn't say a word. Now, that's not rare for me, but for Marty and Dan, that's unheard of. I mean, those guys, they're going to get in, they're going to give you what they're talking about. You're going to know what they think. But when Ash was done, it was complete silence. And I don't mean complete silence for a couple of seconds. It was a couple of minutes. That's how powerful what Mr. Mufareh told us was. And Ash finally had to come on, his exact words, "Are you guys still there?" And of course, then Marty came in. Yeah, we're here. We just can't believe what we just heard, Ash, because we had thought about a lot of these things, but never to the extent that Mr. Mufareh had, and never the way he explained it. It was unbelievable. It was really, really, but it's even better today. If you're listening to Ash today, liberty, freedom, mobility, all of those things are in reach of all of us, because OnPassive gives us the freedom to succeed, and then they tell us how to succeed. When I think about it, it's just amazing, because most of the people in OnPassive today, most of the people that I've been in contact with Collins has been in contact with, Marty, Dan, RobLynn, you guys got really, really great hearts. And it's always, yeah, I want to take care of my family, but then I want to help. Yeah, I want to do this, but I want to help. And that is the tone of OnPassive. We have so many people out there that, yeah, they want to be successful. Yeah, they want to fill their tank. Yeah, they want to be able to do the things they want to do. But most of all, once they get there, they want to help. That is the ecosystem of OnPassive. That is the culture of OnPassive. And I don't think that's ever going to change. I know Collins won't let that happen. I know RobLynn won't let that happen. I know Marty won't let that happen. So the freedom to succeed is phenomenal, and it opens up so many avenues. We're just going to have really, 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 really fun with that. Go ahead, guys.
Marty, how do you top that? Or do you?
You didn't see me raise my hand, did you?
I'd raise
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah, you didn't say I'm going next. Yeah, obviously I agree with Mike. I mean, we've been together a long time, maybe 10 years or more. And yeah, the meeting of Ash, someday we could tell you, but there was a couple times that probably weren't real good. but the long run, it turned out even better. But yeah, I'm not, it's like right now I can't think how to word this, but people really need to just think about, and I don't care what you think you have, multiply it by 1,000. Okay, whatever you think you might have, and realize the limits will not be OnPassive. The limit of your life will have nothing to do with OnPassive. It has to do with you. Because if you want to go faster, you'll never outrun OnPassive. Never, 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 never. I'm going to do my best to try to outrun it. Why? Because I want to get where I want to get quicker, because the quicker I get there, the more I can do what I want to do. I want to help a lot of people. and I want to be able to do certain things. There's certain things I really want to do. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy marketing, believe it or not. But I think the kind of marketing they're doing with AI and all the stuff I'm learning about AI, I'm going through the blog every day. I do videos about AI. I see all the stuff they're doing, the good things they're doing. I know people panic. And I brought this up today in my live where people, well, it's going to take jobs. Well, when the first car came out in 1896 or whatever it was, 4 bicycle wheels and an ugly engine that made a lot of noise and barely moved. Scared the horses to death, and people said, this is no good. This is going to end the world the way we know it. Look at us now. And what happened was technology created jobs that never existed. And that's what's going to happen with OnPassive and the AI part of this world. People say it's going to take jobs away. Yes, it is. But it's going to create jobs that we don't even know yet. People say, oh, I don't get it. Go back to before 1913 or whatever it was, when the first time Henry Ford turned on the assembly line. Because 10 years earlier, assembly line and cars wouldn't have made any sense. It scared people to death. How many cars has Ford sold since then? How many people have been employed by motor companies? Millions, tens of millions. So it created another industry. And I believe without a doubt, because of technology, what it's always done, we creates an industry. He got the idea of an assembly line because he went to a meat factory and he saw how they run the cow through, and at the end it's packaged in different cuts and all that. He went, well, that makes a lot of sense. And he did that in the car thing. He said, look, if I make the same frame, the same mold, I can get out 10 cars instead of one. And then 100, and then 500, then 5,000. But before that happened, he was an evil man. He's changing the world. We should be walking with a horse 4 miles an hour. He saw something different. The Wright brothers, the same thing. What the frick are you going in the sky for? You need to stay down here. They went 100 feet. They were celebrating like you wouldn't believe, Kitty Hawk or wherever it was. Look at them now. You could travel across the world. And technology gave how many people jobs at Boeing? I mean, think about when people say stuff, they only can see what they can see. I believe in what we can't see. I love thinking about the things we can't see yet. And I believe the industry of AI is going to blow up positions where people will be working in positions they could have only dreamed of. You know, I saw AI today, and I'm going to say this real quick. My grandson, Shorty, came over. He's 7 years old. He stood in front of me, but I'm looking over his shoulder. He's got a controller, and he's got it hooked up to a game. And his thumbs and fingers are moving so fast, it's just a blur. And I'm watching what he's doing, and I'm going, I wonder if he's doing that, right? I call my son, 35 years old. I said, Zach, I want to thank you for letting Jaden and Shorty play with you sometimes on games. He goes, Dad, are you freaking kidding? So what do you mean? Jaden comes on and wipes out armies. He can build and take and put a gun together, flip it over his shoulder, take out 40 people, flip over a fence faster than anybody else. And then I realized, how could that be a plus? Did you know, effective right now, this is what they're working on. They found out that kids, as bad as games are, the eye-hand coordination and the way they're using their mind, they're going to use that in testing people's IQ and for future jobs. Because they said anybody that can do those type of things will be very good at multitasking. There'll be an industry for these kids that are growing up. And you think, no, I would have never thought of that. No, that's right, you wouldn't have. But see, there's always something different, always something different. 1973, there was a gas shortage. They said we have 100 years we're going to be out of oil. What happened? minds got together and said, okay, we're going to get rid of jets in the carburetor. We're going to make fuel injected. They took cars that were getting 10 miles to the gallon, made them do 40 miles to the gallon. And people said, yeah, but they cut out the horsepower. Really? You go get a brand new Camaro SS right now. It'll beat any muscle car that ever existed back in 69 and 70. I know. I was in my son's. I crapped my pants. Ring the bell. No, I'm not kidding. It was the fastest freaking car. I could not believe it. 12 seconds with me in it in the quarter. That's technology. My point is, we keep looking at what we have, not what's coming. Anything new hurts in the beginning because we're afraid. But the freedom and all that, look, the week might be a 20-hour work week in 15 years. But if you made triple the money, what is the difference? What's the difference? It's time freedom. And I believe people need to let go of, they're afraid of what they can't see. But there's some good, Jaden. God, he's talking louder than me. There's those type of things are going to change the industry, my opinion. And the more I look at it, you could say, wow, people don't know that's coming. You know, Elon Musk came on it and put some bad things about artificial intelligence, scared people. It's going to do evil. You put a glass of milk in an evil person's hand and they'll find a way to kill you with it. It has anything can be evil. Like I said, you could take AI and do good for mankind. We're seeing it right now. In my opinion, the only reason Elon Musk is saying that is he's getting people prepared for something he wants to deliver to the world in 6 months. But anyway, it really take the time and look at what's really going on and use your imagination of something you don't know. We're in the middle of something that's AI is on the news every day. I can't believe it. Since Ash talked about it 7, 8 a year ago, I hear it every day. And the things I'm seeing are a help to mankind. Yes, they will lose jobs. But remember, there will be jobs created because of technology. That's my opinion anyway. And I don't want that to do with time freedom, but I think it does. Put it together. Anyway, that's all I got.
Well, look at what's happening technology-wise just within OnPassive and where Ash and the teams are taking us. Collins, you're the perfect one for this part of the segment. Look at what's happening. Ash is creating jobs while other companies are eliminating jobs. So what better place to be than with the new technology giant or the new technology or the new internet, which is what we really are. Take it away.
They always talk about job loss. I always see more job creation. When you look back, like what Maddie said, perfectly well, we started with the agricultural age. When they started to move into the industrial age, a lot of people were scared. Oh, means all our farms will disappear. So what will people do? Jobs are going. What happened? The industrial age create more jobs, like car manufacturing company, food processing companies, and stuff like that. What happened? A lot of jobs were created. But the farms still there. Even we lack people who can even go and work because people started looking at different avenues to make money in a simpler and nice way. Farming now become more mechanized. Machine can do everything, process things. Now we move forward to the tertiary, offices and stuff like that. What happened? More jobs again. Now we even lack people who can even do the jobs because there are things I always said, the brain cells. I don't know if we ever utilize all our brain cells. We use only half of it, a fraction of it, and we die with the rest without doing anything with it. But look at where OnPassive is coming. Sometimes we talk about job. Let's talk about our data center. Do you know how many jobs that data center will create? Administrative job, those who can administer and train people. Like we have AWS, Amazon Web Services. They have a lot of administrators. Maybe there are millions of administrators because company want people who can come and install and establish the system, the software, the data center, educate people on how to run the web services. We have a lot out there now. They created a lot of jobs. Look at Microsoft Azure. People going to school to learn it because they want to have daily living. And they pay a lot. It's high-paid job for you to be able to administer all of these services. What do you think OnPassive will do? OnPassive data center will do? It will create millions of jobs, whether we like it or not. There are people who will leave, industries will use, they will store our data, and they say, okay, you are storing our data. How can our employees know? We need to employ those who can come and run our web services, make sure our system are running smoothly using your data center, the cloud services, and all of those things. What will happen? A lot of jobs will come. So those who are thinking of otherwise, I feel too bad. Think about Academy. How many new people will get jobs, getting money by using Academy? You know, lot of jobs will come, and whatever is coming, both the physical products, now we're talking about physical products going through manufacturing, what will happen? A lot of people will go train and then get a job. For those who are saying that job will go, it means you just decide not to learn. As human being, you must be dynamic. You don't have to be static. When you are static, the world will move forward and they'll move against you because you have decided to choose your position. As Maddie said, you choose to be there, but the world is moving. You know, when we look at the banking system, your card, you go to open a ledger, right, and say, oh, this is the amount of money. The broad machine card where you can go and then withdraw your money. A lot of people scared, they were scared because a lot of people were doing that job. They know they can open the ledger, they look at it right. Now, what happened? Automated machine come where you can just put your card. Guess what? Engineers, a lot of people look at it and say, what happened? What if this machine break down? We cannot take our money. No, we have to send people to go and study to come and repair this machine. They start to automate it. Look at the millions of jobs from America to US to Africa to everywhere. Millions of jobs because you need engineers to repair that machine. So who says there will be job loss? Nothing. It will create a lot of jobs. One thing will lead, it will open a well of jobs, but sometimes we just get scared because we want to stay in our own bubble. Jobs will always be there, and every new thing gives rise to new jobs and give rise to new training. Not only jobs, but high-paid jobs. You upskill and you get the job. So that's what I would say, because it's really good time for OnPassive. Seriously.
A trained mind through Academy is a very good thing. And that will, those people who thought they never could get that job or the job that they wanted, look at the opportunities that Academy is going to provide. It's amazing. Amazing to me. Back to you, Mike.
Yeah, I love to listen to all of you guys. It's all spot on. You know, when you talk about technology, and it really is a wonderful thing, but the best thing we have going for us is OnPassive, honest, clean, ethical. You know that Mr. Mufareh is never going to do anything to the detriment of mankind. It's just not going to happen. Everything that comes out of OnPassive is going to be there to assist us get to that place where we have that freedom and that liberty. I've been beating a drum the last week or so, and so much great information has been coming out. But people in OnPassive, they need to realize that OnPassive is not a passive business. This is your business. This is your responsibility. There are things you're going to have to do, and those things Mr. Mufareh is going to come out and explain to you in the next couple of days. As the new OAS back office comes up, there's probably a half a dozen things that each and every one of us need to go in and do. And if you don't do that, as Marty has said, if you're sitting on the fence and you just think you're going to sit there and be a spectator, well, you are. You're just going to be a spectator because OnPassive is never going to do anything for you. But as you come in and you engage and you do the things Mr. Mufareh asks you to do, OnPassive will go to work for you. Okay, that's where we're all at. That's where we all want to be. And then Collins and Marty and RobLynn, there are other things you can do behind us that will expedite where you want to get. They'll cut those time frames. So when we talk about OnPassive, everything is there for you, but it is not passive. It is not passive in any way. And I want people to get that out of their head. It doesn't mean that you have to go to work 9 to 5 and be in sales and do all these other things. That's not what it is. but you have to engage, you have to participate, you have to do the things that Mr. Ash Mufareh asks us to do, and then let OnPassive go to work for you. You know, when I think about Ash and what he's doing and the technology that he's dealing with right now, and the reason I pause is because there are things that Marty, Dan, and I talk about all the time. And they're really, really, it's like I talked to Dan the other day. I said this a couple of days ago. I talked to Dan the other day, and I was just listening to Dan. And you don't get that side of Dan very often, but Dan, he'll get on a rampage, and he will go. And when he does that, I just listen. And Dan came in, and he was talking about the nuclear bombs that are coming this week, or whenever they come. And I'm listening to him, and I stopped and I said, Dan, stop. You just hit it. That's what's coming. That's what Mr. Mufareh is going to do. And he stopped, and we talked about it a little bit, and we both agreed, yeah, I think that could be it. Those are one of the things that Mr. Mufareh has to tell you. I can't, Marty can't, Dan can't. It's not my job. But these are the conversations we have. And it projects the technology that's coming. And there are so many areas that we don't talk about. And as Ash gets closer to them, obviously we're going to come out and yell at everybody because they are phenomenal. And because OnPassive is honest, clean, and ethical, I never, ever worry that the technology OnPassive is going to come out with is going to do anything but help people. That's just the heart of Ash Mufareh. So freedom, liberty, all that stuff, great things. We're all going to have it. We're going to have it sooner than later. And you're going to have the ability to really determine how you want to live. What a great feeling. What a great place to be. This is where, and if you have a passion, as Marty talks about all the time, if you have a passion and you want to spread it to the world, what better place to be than OnPassive? And obviously, as OnPassive releases some of these products to the world, we'll be talking about this stuff. And Marty, Dan, and I, we've talked about different things. I don't think we'll put them on the OnPassive ecosystem ourselves, but other people will. And because we think they're just terrific products or they do terrific things, we'll promote them even though it has nothing to do with us. That is OnPassive. That is the family of OnPassive. That's what everybody will be doing. It's just a really, really fun time. And I know you don't want to be anyplace else, period. Go ahead, guys. How long does this go? I mean, I'll start writing topics down.
Well, we'll go until you guys get tired or we get tired. I know Collins has been up a while, but usually goes an hour, sometimes 2 hours when we have 3 or 4 guests. And then when Ash is on, it can go as long as 6 hours. So it's kind of back to the old Friday Night Live days some nights with Ash when he comes on. So Marty, Mike was mentioning about how Ash has done the heavy lifting for us and how his 20 years of experience are coming in at the right time for the rest of us. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the hardest thing in marketing is getting good traffic. Simple as that. Trying to get targeted traffic to what you're selling is very, very difficult. I hear a lot of people talk about it. I hear people that they put the label, I'm a marketer. I listen to them for 20 minutes and I don't know if I have the right to say it, but I usually say, oh, no, you're not. You're not. You have no idea. You know, they say, well, I buy solo ads. Solo ads are regurgitated names and emails that other people have used. By the time you get them, they're horrible. You actually have to learn how to get targeted traffic yourself. And it takes a long time and it takes a lot of work. I did all of our marketing on Facebook. Not marketing where I put a post up and we let it go. The marketing would be, I paid Facebook for them to let me market around the world. But here's the thing people don't know. It's not like you go to them. You put a budget in, maybe $100 to whatever. Yeah, $100 to start. You set up an ad, and you're not allowed to say certain words. You don't know what those words are. They don't tell you. They just tell you it's bad. Nope, this ad fails. That's all you get in 24 hours. This ad's no good. You don't know why. So you look at the words and you say, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Or it could be the image. Now, I could make an ad and have thousands of people come. It'd be easy. But they don't like hype. They don't want this. So we had to make an ad that never said OnPassive. It never talked about making money. And you had to bring in people as quickly as you can, and you try to get it for under $1 a lead. Took us 3 months and a lot of money, not a lot of money, but money, a lot of time. And we got it down to 50 cents a lead, and we were getting 250 signups a day. And I mean 250 paid signups for a run. But it didn't happen easy. It took a lot of work, a lot of getting it right, tuning it, certain countries, certain age group. I mean, you fine tune even people that follow this person, people that are age group between whatever. And a lot of people saying, yeah, but I got a website. I paid $500 for it. We did our best ads on the ugliest websites you ever saw. But what we did was we mentioned things that people want to hear. And it's hard to find out what that is. But if you do it right, people will come. But it's not easy. Most people can't do it because it takes too long. I've had people say, train me. Okay, so I train them. Before we get to the end of the training, they quit. I'm not doing that. No freaking way am I doing that. I'm not doing that. Okay. Then you wonder why when OnPassive comes and I say, wait a minute, you're doing all that part of it? Get the freak out of the way. If we don't bring 100,000 people in 6 months, I'm quitting. Because this is a gravy train for everybody here. You know, I go back to the low-hanging fruit. Trust me, we will plow fields if you do it right. And you could do this very cheap, in my opinion. And that's because I saw what we did and how difficult it was. With OnPassive, all of you could sit and do nothing. But OnPassive, like I said, built you a race car. They built you a racetrack. You could go 300 miles an hour. Why the heck would you drive it like a Volkswagen Beetle? It doesn't make sense. Because time is all we have. It's very important to all of us. But you can, if you take the time, first 6 months, build this thing so good with what OnPassive has without being a marketer that your great-grandchildren will never work again. I believe that with all my heart. I would not say it if I didn't believe it. I'm not kidding. And people say, oh, Marty's hyping. No, I'm not hyping. I know what we did. I know how things work, and I know what OnPassive has. And I'm thinking 3 blind mice could build this thing. I mean, and they just get out of your own way. That's the problem. I've seen people fall in love with an image. Oh, this image is going to be great. I love this. And I never fell in love with anything I did. I did it. If it didn't work, I trashed it. And we found out the ugliest site, a 35-second video, and people came in by the hordes. And everybody was very predictable. If you tell people they can't do it, they do it. If you ask them to do it, they won't. But if they think they made the idea, they'll come in by the thousands. And OnPassive does all that for you. Keep that in mind. All that stuff I mentioned, you don't have to do any of it. And you wonder why I'm excited? Are you kidding? What me, Mike, and Dan went through in 10 years, 15 years? It's like we died and went to heaven on earth. No joke. And anybody could do this. Just take it for a spin. Just take it for a spin. That's all I got.
I got just two quickies here before we bring the conductor on, Grandpa Chris Johnson. I just wanted to say this. We didn't ring the bell because we were on a roll. We're still rolling. But go ahead and put your guesses for the background. Where is Ollie? in the chat. And will you highlight a few of them?
Yeah, I'll
And
highlight 'em. I'll highlight 'em.
usually our dear Davina, am I ringing the bell? I thought we weren't going to ring the bell.
We'll ring the bell, but I'm not going to verbalize the guesses so that the chat, the panelists can continue to talk.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you ring the bell. You got the bell in your hand.
Okay. So after I ring the bell, you make your guesses. I'll try my best to spotlight them. Okay. Can you hear it? Did you
Mike,
hear
in case you hadn't
Did you hear
seen
it?
that before.
Did you
Yes,
hear it?
everybody heard it.
Okay.
I didn't know if I needed to get the boxing gloves out.
Oh, that's our nightly cowbelling ring. My mother, who we call Grandma Bobby, is not here any longer, but she was
Either
always
that or dinner time.
Yep, it was either for dinner time or for at the ball games, whatever the event was. My mother would ring the cowbell, so we brought the cowbell back. So guess away, guys. So much for the silent
No,
guessing.
no, they'll guess.
Oh, silent.
Yeah, I just not
Okay.
going to verbalize. So
All right,
go
I
for
got
it. You guys go ahead and guess.
All right, Chris, talk to us, brother.
I
Freedom.
I was listening to my brothers there, and really good. You know what? It's kind of hard to define freedom because everyone's is totally different, I guess, if you can hear. My freedom was I wish I can get back my 32 years and have someone else go do my job for me. And I could have done this something called OnPassive for 32 years rather than what I did. But I guess for me, it would be the time to do what I want, make up for 32 years. I'm not regretting the 32 years. It wasn't easy. It was tough. There was sometimes unbearable, to be honest with you. 16, 18 hours a day. It tears your body apart. It tears your mind apart. I look at Mr. Mike Ellis there, who's still going at it. And he doesn't look nowhere near his age. I'll tell you that. And that is probably because of hard work, but mentally and physically, it wears on you. It keeps you in shape. It keeps you going, but it's not always easy to do. So freedom for me is just being able to make choices all the time that support what you want, not what everyone else wants. We spend most of our times working for somebody, and the choices we make are usually because they tell us them. If you think about it, where I had a boss my whole life, and he would say to me, "You want to work Saturday and Sunday?" And I'd say, "Yep." That was the choice I made because I seen what I was making. Paychecks were like hitting the lottery every Friday. And I couldn't say no to it, but I hated saying yes to it, to be honest with you. So as far as what OnPassive is going to do and what it's going to change, I hope, like I said, I was an auto worker. Anyone could be an auto worker. There's things in the auto worker business that are skill, and there's things that aren't so skillful. We're just throwing parts in a jig and hitting some buttons. It's not hard to do. It's just long, sometimes tedious, sometimes terrible hours. And in that process of me working all those years, and I'm sure Mike, Marty, Collins, even you, RobLynn, went through this because you all worked somewhere for a long time. How many times did you sit there and say, my God, would I want to be doing anything but this right now? As Mike's pounding away with a hammer, as a carpenter, carrying shingles up a ladder, I was on my feet literally for so many hours a day. And I was numb to the pain. I really was. I did it for so long. I was numb to, hey, dummy, it's time to go. It's time to retire. And the truth is, life is so expensive, honestly. When someone says, what kind of freedom do you want? Man, I think of just, if I could do it all over again, the freedom it would just be, hey, pay my house payment every month. Maybe pay my truck payment every month. That would be freedom, because now I have the opportunity to say, nah, I was that guy that really liked nice things, went out and bought the big trucks. I wasn't real materialistic, but I liked having nice vehicles or boats. And I found out that the more things that I bought, the longer I had to work, and then I really couldn't enjoy the darn things anyway. All right. As I'm 57 years old, and I'm still not the youngest one here. Collins, I think, has got me by a few years younger. You do change. Your freedoms change as you get older. Now, I think I was talking to Garmo the other night. Well, I'm always talking to Garmo. And I was saying, he goes, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I really, I'm dying to take up scuba diving because it's something I've always wanted to do. I've snorkeled my whole life. I've dove 20, 30 feet down below looking for things with a snorkel, holding my breath, but I've always wanted to scuba dive. And I'm looking forward to do that. Flying a helicopter. I'm dying to learn how to fly a helicopter. Do I like heights? I don't, but I want to fly a helicopter. That's freedom. Doing things that you really want to do in your life. If you could sit back and look at your life and ask yourself, and think of OnPassive in the back of your mind, what would you have done differently? All right. What would you have done differently? Would you work less hours? We all wanted that. Me, I told you my dream was I'm going to build a robot of myself and I'm going to send that robot into work every single day. And that way I can have all the freedom I want. But what would you do differently right now in your life if you could do it all over again? Would you work the hours like you did? Would you maybe do a job that you absolutely disgustingly couldn't stand? You just didn't like it, but you did it anyway? All right. Some of us didn't have choices like that. It was, you're going to do this because you have family. You have bills. All right. Freedom. Freedom is a very expensive thing when you think about it. And when I got into OnPassive, I realized that, man, this company really is going to give people the freedom, the time to do what they want, but also to change history. When Ash says, you know, we're going to change things or the colors or the shapes, if I knew I could save 100 people like me, men and women, from having to work into a factory for 32 years in god-awful heat, or some young kids like Mike does and crawling up ladders and building things. Now, having that's a trade, what Mike does. It's a trade he's done for a long time. And I would rather have, and I'm sure Mike would, I would rather have the freedom to say, you know what, I do want to go to work today. And I do want to build myself a cabin or a house. I'm probably betting Mike build his own house. All right. But, and I'm only using Mike as an example because I know where he comes from, but freedom, whoo, I could talk for 16 days straight about the freedoms I want. And one of them is just to throw an alarm clock in the garbage. That was my biggest freedom. And I did that when I retired. Now I get up automatically, and that's a great freedom. But every morning, this is the truth. I wake up real early now because I go to bed halfway decent now. I get up and I tell God, thank you for giving me another day. I really appreciate that. And I sit there and lay in bed just for a couple minutes thinking about what do I want to do. I never had that freedom of thinking what I wanted to do when I got up in the morning for 40 years. I knew what I had to do, not what I wanted to do. Mike, Marty, every one of you, Lynn, Rob, Collins, you can all, I'm sure you can agree with that. When you wake up in the morning, when you're working for the man or a woman, whatever your boss was or is, you're not thinking what you want to do. You're thinking what you got to do because the boss says, get in here, you ain't going to have a job. What do you mean you want to go fishing? I don't think so. Get in here. The boss says, I want to go fishing. So remember that freedom does come with a cost. But when I actually saw OnPassive and what Ash had to say and what his whole plan was, I really understood his plan within the first 2 to 3 months. I really understood what he was trying to do and say. And I had a lot of people, including my family, calling me all kind of crazy names, like still to this time. And it's okay. You know why? I believe it in my heart. I really believe it in my heart. And I believe God brought me to OnPassive. Peter Shore called me, and Pete always called me for everything. And he waited 2 years. Never understood that, why he waited so long. I don't even question it because I'm here. All right. And I'll tell you another thing. I did work for Mazda and Ford for 32 years. The remainder of the last 20 years was all Ford Motor Company. I want to tell you something real quick about me. I never bought another vehicle but a Ford. All right. I was a diehard to the company I worked for. I stayed. I bought Ford products. Remember that saying, never bite the hand that feeds you? I know, believe it or not, even though I gave Ford all my freedom, they did pay me pretty good. But I thought, man, and when people say, they hear me complaining about, I don't like when people look at other things. I'm 100% in passive, like I was 100% Ford, and that's who I am. I don't know who you are, but I know OnPassive has changed the way I think about my freedom, and I really can't wait to start enjoying it. That's all I got for you, RobLynn. Back to you.
All right, over to you, Collins.
Wow, Chris, you just fired me up. You know that the freedom, if you're just talking about freedom now, I was just thinking, then looking into OnPassive technology, thinking about freedom, why there is freedom in OnPassive technology. We always use the word CATMO. CATMO is always money. We know we love it because there is money, time, and financial freedom. But what really gives us the perfect freedom is automation. So the time I was sitting and I was talking to someone, I said, what comes first, automation or AI? So I said, I want to tweak people's brain to see how they think and what they think. Which one comes first in development? Is it automation or is it AI? Some said it's AI, some said it's automation. I was just laughing. And I said, if you've been there, you will know that automation comes before AI. And I asked myself, why AI now? Because automation wasn't there before previously, and there was no mechanism to build AI. That's why most companies couldn't do it. And OnPassive came at the right time when you have all the perfect tools to build automation and to build the AI. This is the time of AI, and this is the time of automation that we have that freedom, because automate means you're just telling machine to do the repetitive job, the job you really hate, you don't want to do, so the machine can do it for you, and you can just have your time to relax. Now, the moment you automate the machine, what do you do? So, for instance, I said Chris Johnson is a machine, or Mike L is a machine. I said, oh, I want to automate it because I don't really like to do. And then Chris Johnson started to do the job like, I said, no, this is not what I wanted, because it's just like out of order. I said, no, I need to start to fit information in there to tell Chris Johnson what to do. That is where the machine learning comes. So you start to tell the machine, no, I want you to do it in 1 hour. I want you to do it in 2 hours. I want you to behave like humans. I want you to speak to that person, respond, and this, all of those information is AI. So, and this is exactly what company lacked, because there was nothing there at that time to do all of this. The tools to write all those code wasn't there. So they think about it, but how can they do it? But we're looking at OnPassive came at the right time, the right tools, and everything is just there. And this I say, you know what? We will do this, do everything this way. We know it is difficult, but we have to go through this part, because now is the perfect time for us to do it. And everything was just done seamlessly, automate, AI driven from scratch. And now what is happening to us? We'll be having financial and time freedom. All the job we hate to do, machine will do it for us, and everything will be working seamlessly, and this is where the freedom comes from. I said, I'm giving you complete freedom because everything is done for you. All the heavy lifting, Mike Ellie said, all the heavy lifting has been taken care of. Yours is just to push that button and said, all right, I want to do this. I need to move this to this place. Because as he said, though they are saying everything is done for you, but you still have to do something, because if you don't go and tell the machine, do this now, activate that product, sign the reseller's form and do everything, put it in the place where Mr. Mufareh will push the machine to start to push customer to your side, then it means you have not done anything. And if you cannot do it in OnPassive, honestly, you will never succeed anywhere. As Mike Ellie said, if you cannot succeed here, where everything is just free, everything is just so easy to do. The system can tell you, teach you. You don't need anybody to tell you. It is there in front of you. Do it this way and you'll be successful. You don't do it and then go to sleep, because the moment you push that button, you can go to sleep. And Mr. Mufareh will still do all the work for you with the team. The machine will just take over. The next morning you get up, you look at your wallet, you say, my God, is it really true? Am I really dreaming or yes, because you push that button and then the machine just go crazy, start to do what they're supposed to do, and then you're smiling. And you can have that freedom now, as Chris said, you can go fishing, you can go, the machine is there working for you. You don't need to do anything, but you just take the first step to push that button, follow the steps, and then go to sleep. And that is all. total freedom you have. There is no way. If you cannot have this better life in OnPassive, then there is just no way you can succeed anywhere. Because I said I'm really lazy, and I like it. I love OnPassive because I'm lazy. So I'll leave it there. I'll leave it.
Hey, Chris, I see a either a Boston Whaler or Chris Craft possibly in your future. I don't know how far down the road. Not too far, I'm sure.
I do like Boston Whalers, but it's not my kind of boat. That's a good little diving boat, actually.
Right.
You can get like you can buy an old Boston Whaler and they still hold their value, but they're fun little skiffs, I call them. My one of my dream boats is a 42-foot Chris Craft sport craft. It's a fishing livable boat. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's not new. It's very old because it still holds its value because of how they built these boats. But
it's all mahogany, isn't it? Inside.
Well, no, I won't. I will never own a wood boat because I don't want to spend the rest of my life being a carpenter. Mike could probably tell you that when you own a wood boat, you're working on that thing all year round. You're replacing things. You're staining. You're painting. You got to let it swell. I really love fiberglass. There's nothing better than fiberglass. The wood boats, but this is the truth. A wood boat is the nicest and smoothest running boat on the water. For some reason, wood just lays perfect, but better than fiberglass. But fiberglass lasts forever unless you run into a rock or something, and even then it's hard to crack it. And if you do, you can fix it. So you know what, Rob? The last couple of years, I was kind of tied up a little bit, and I had plans when I retired to get that big Chris Craft. And Corona came into play. My mom came into play, and I just kind of held back. I put my life on hold for the last few years for some reasons. My mom, number one, Corona, we didn't have a choice. And in passive, I believed I need to give more than what I had to give, and I wanted to give everything I had. And I'm glad I did it. Was it long and tiring? Yeah, but so was 32 years of doing anywhere from 8 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not 5 days a week, 7 days a week. You don't know what time it is. You forgot about freedom. All you worry about is when your next check's coming in on Friday. All right. So I'm going to give you all a bit of advice. If you choose to work that way the rest of your life or for 30 some years, don't buy anything because you'll never have time to use it. That's the honest to God truth. And passive is going to give you time to use things. Okay. Now I don't know if you're a boater or maybe I love to travel too, but listen, if you're going to go buy a Harley Davidson, I've never had a Harley Davidson. I'm probably the only auto worker in the world that doesn't own a Harley Davidson, right? Never wanted one. But my buddies that bought these Harley Davidsons, they also worked like me for 7 days a week. And you know where they rode them? They rode them to work. And then they went back home. Me, if I got a Harley, I want to be going through Arizona. I want to be going through California, Colorado. I want to be going everywhere. That's the problem. We buy toys, but we really don't have time to use them. That's the honest to God truth. So think about what a passive is going to give you. Maybe you are the one that gives out I can't answer that call right now. Maybe you are the one that wants the Harley or the Chris Craft or the cottage, or maybe you just want to travel. Traveling sucks when you got to work. You know why? Because you got to come home. You have to come home. Where's your freedom in that? You went to Hawaii for 1 week. Crap, it took you a day and a half to get there. All right. Now, guess what? Before you know it, I told you what ruins a perfectly good vacation? Knowing the first day you say, man, we got about 6 more days, honey. That's it. You just ruined your vacation. I'm going to say it again. I've said it in the last month. I want to go on a vacation. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Alaska. And I want to stay there so long that I'm sick of it. And then I move on somewhere else. Now that's a vacation. Never have to worry about going home. That's a great vacation. I don't know if that answered your question, Rob. I went off on a tangent, I guess.
Close enough. And Mike, are you ready for a vacation?
What is that for me?
Yeah, Mike Ellis.
Vacations are great. I love vacations, but I have to tell you, number one, I've never worked for anybody in my life, okay, which is rare. That is a blessing. And I love the work that I've done, whatever it is, whether it's in my past life or now, like Marty, I love the work. I love what we're doing on OnPassive. I wouldn't change a thing. And when I get a break and I go do something, I'm always thinking about, I want to do this. There's stuff I want to say. There are videos I want to make. Marty's coming up with stuff. I want to be back there. I want to be doing that. So it's been a little different from me. My life really has been blessed. I've loved what I've done. I love to create, and that's what I did in my past life. That's what we're doing today. So work for me, it was never arduous. It was always, and it's because I never had a boss. No one was ever telling me what to do. I did it on my own. And I know other people have had that same experience. But for me, work was a blessing, absolute blessing. Couple things. Chris got off a little bit, and I love listening to Chris because he's absolutely right. I mean, a lot of people want to be exactly what he's talking about. Absolutely, 100%. But I want to get back on track a little bit, and I want to talk about money. That's a topic everybody loves. And Marty brought it up earlier, and I'm not going to get deep into it, just a little bit. When you think about OnPassive and you think about traffic, number one, OnPassive will be and is the best traffic you will ever see online. It is phenomenal. People will be coming in to OnPassive for their traffic because everybody's coming to OnPassive. And if you've listened to Ash, if you've seen what we've done in the UAE, we're partners there. If you see what Dr. Susan's doing in Egypt, a country coming in, this is happening daily. There are things that I could talk about that are happening right now, and I won't go there today, but it's exciting, really, really exciting. But when you just focus on one of the products of OnPassive, just one little baby product of OnPassive, the annual revenue for advertising online worldwide is about $860 billion. In just a couple of years, it'll surpass $1 trillion. Well, those individuals are going to be coming to OnPassive. And what happens to us as that happens? People come to OnPassive for their traffic. Everybody here knows this. Everything comes through us. We are the doorkeeper. If we don't open up the door, you don't come into OnPassive. And all of that traffic, all of that advertising that OnPassive is going to be selling will be going through us. Okay, that's one product. There is a product coming out. I don't know when Ash is going to bring it out. It's better than anything you've ever heard of. It's an IT product. And I've wrapped my mind around this. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it is massive. This is what Ash has told us. It is something that, again, it is revolutionary. This is OnPassive. This is what OnPassive does. They bring out products, and what does that do for us? Again, we are the doorkeeper. Everything comes through us. Just a few little products of OnPassive. Everybody here, everybody that is a brand ambassador, you will get to that point where you don't worry about money, period. And that's coming this week, next week, the next week, and it's going to continue for another couple of decades. So what's happening on the money side of OnPassive, when you really stop to think about it, all the things that are coming, how OnPassive is structured, how it's going to benefit you and I as brand ambassadors, and how our lives are going to change, and freedom and liberty comes into play. Big time, big time. The last thing I'll say, freedom for me is a theological question. And that's not something I'm going to talk about in this forum. But true freedom, that's where it lies. The freedom that we're going to get with OnPassive is a freedom to think outside the box, to think about those things that perhaps you don't have time right now, just because life is just so busy with work, with family, with the kids, taking them to everywhere. But when you have time to think about it, in my mind, freedom, it is a theological question. And I think Mr. Mufareh would probably agree with that. Yeah, we want to give everybody that financial freedom, but there's more than just that. And I'll leave it at that, guys. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mike. Marty, Lori Lund says you want to ride a mammoth draft donkey. I don't even know what a mammoth draft donkey is.
Well, I know what the donkey is.
Why did we, Martin?
I'm not going to say what it is, but I want you to use your imagination. I don't know what that means. That's what I need to ride, though. If I got on a regular horse, I'll break his legs. Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, I don't know how we top everything we've said. I just know that we haven't seen anything yet. That's for sure.
I'd say
And
we're
remember, every second that goes by, guys, people are working for us. You ever wrap your head around that? Every second of every day, somebody somewhere, in fact, hundreds of people, are working in our behalf to make something that's never been done before. That's why when I hear people say, I think this, I think that, it doesn't matter what you think. You have nothing to compare it to. He's building something that's never been done. Ash himself does not know the day we're going to launch, get the links. He has an idea. He set up dates, and I'm not saying he doesn't. Here's the point: 5 minutes at OnPassive. When you're this big and you have this many legs going in and out from the head of OnPassive, things change in a second, 1 second. And if you wrap your head around and you can even guess how big we are, you wouldn't question a day here, a day there, an hour here, an hour there. I just want to say this. When we get our links, and it's where they want to be, and trust me, Ash Mufareh is a stickler for perfect. He likes better than perfect. And whatever we have will be better in 6 months. You know, we did that big thing a year ago for Burj Khalifa, and then we had Academy. Do you think that Academy is what it is today? No freaking way. There's no way. He looks at everything and tries to make it bigger and better and bigger and better. And that's why when people say, you know, competition, there's zero competition against OnPassive. They could be second, third, fourth, fifth place, but you're not going to be first. And when they get where we are now, we're not going to be here. We're going to be 5 years ahead. It's the mindset of the company to keep moving, keep forging ahead. And when you build a company on heart and you don't mention money, like I said before, when's the last time you heard a CEO go, "Oh, we don't have to make money on every product"? That's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. And we thought about, we got people worrying, what about KYC? What about this? They brought up KYC and I went and researched it and I was worried. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I thought, ooh, that's big. That's a lot of money. Some places up to $3 or $4 a person, third party. And what happened? I should have known better. OnPassive builds their own system. That is such a big deal. Maybe people will never know, but I'm telling you, that is, and then to make money with it, come on. So when we worry about stuff and what we see them juggling, they're juggling with their feet, they're juggling with their toes, they're juggling many, many products at one time. The other night, he just threw out to the Mad Hatter here, on the 15th, we're going to start going into production, building equipment to enhance OConnect.
The RoboCam.
Yeah, I mean, think about, that's things we didn't know. And this is going on every day in many things we don't know. He's got people that have ideas that have been shelved because nobody wants them to come out. OnPassive, they're coming out. And it's going to enhance man. And every time something's sold, they got to come to a founder. Just wrap your head around that. So, yeah, we're going to get time freedom. We're going to be able to do things we only dreamt of. And if you share it with people you love, they're going to be able to do the same thing. Because I'll tell you right now, I talked to an actual marketer the other day. Mike knows him, and he's no joke. I mean, he's going to get in, I'm pretty sure. He just doesn't know it yet. But he could bring in 10, 20, 30,000 people. Really, no joke. But he worked like a mule, guys. He worked like a mule. Good-hearted guy, worked really hard. One of the few that I could look at and say, well, I like him. He's a good guy. But these kind of guys, when they see what we have, when a real marketer comes in and sees what we have, trust me, they're going to know what to do with it. They're going to go on fire. And these people are going to be in your team. You're going to be getting commission, and all of a sudden you're going to get kaboom mission, okay? Kaboom mission is when things come and you go, what the freak just happened? What dam was just broke? It was some guy got in, or a team, or a company, and it just so happens that they're part of your organization. And you're going to get paid commission. This will happen. We're all in early enough that we're all going to see this eventually. You know, I remember in the very beginning about overflow and all that. That's not mentioned anymore. I don't know anything about it. I don't even care. I'll tell you the truth. When myself, Mike, and Dan heard about whatever this overflow was, we said out loud, we're going to build the business as if we're not getting anyone. We took the business in our own hands and built it and said, we're going to build it like there is no one else and we're getting no one else. And once I saw what we have and what we're about to unleash, and you could do it by just sharing it, I could give away free products and build a massive, massive, massive business. And you're asking me, yeah, but I don't know what to do. Are you kidding? Share it. Share it like you would anything else. And you will be surprised what's going to happen. Because bad news spreads, and so does good news. This is great news. Great news is going to spread like you wouldn't believe. Remember, Ash said, we're not going to go viral. We're viral right now. They got every bar and latch and locks on the door of OnPassive trying to hold people back, not trying to find them. Trust me. They're getting prepared for Black Friday, okay? It's coming. All they got to do is open the door. That's my opinion, guys. I mean, I think it's gonna fly. It's gonna fly faster than anybody could even imagine. They've done too much, and they're preparing for it. Ash did not say we're going viral. He said we are viral. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see what happens when you build things right. When you build it from the heart, and you build value. When there's no one even near what you can do. Technology that no one has at a value no one can afford. Remember, this is a value they can't afford to do. It's not about some company saying, I'll match you. They cannot match us in price because what's built into their company is greed. You have to pay shareholders multi-millions and millions of dollars who've done nothing. In this company, everybody's getting paid. The overhead is the company itself, its founders. That's it. They can afford to have the lowest cost at the highest quality, at the highest. How do you match that? It's not in the same league. You look at any product out there, they have a list and they put them next to each other. And it's one for one until you get the number item 10 or 11 and one has it and one doesn't. But the price is pretty much the same. OnPassive's got to quadruple the quality, quadruple the technology, and drop the price so low that nobody can touch it. Nobody. They won't be able to do it. It's not about, well, we'll match you. They can't afford to match us. It was built in different. Values built in from the very beginning. That's why when people say, I don't know why we do this. Of course you don't know why. You're not asking Mufareh. I don't know why either. But he is strategically doing everything he does and surrounded himself strategically to do it exactly at the time it needs to be done. And like Collins had said to me 6 months ago, they got to get quality assurance so that it goes through another person before it gets to Ash. And that's what they're doing. When it gets to Ash, that means a group said it's good, real good. So that, we've come a long way. We're about to rock and roll this world, without a doubt. Just hold on, but have fun with it. Don't get panicked. Don't be happy you're with it. Do what you want to do. You want to walk. You could stroll through the countryside. It's okay. But just letting you know, this vehicle you have will go a lot faster than you think. It'll go faster than you ever dreamed of, and you can get to where you want to get quicker. That's it. And so we're very fortunate, very, very fortunate. We're going to see very, very soon that everything that's been done, and you think, oh, I don't get it. Of course you don't get it. You have nothing to compare it to. You can't say, oh, this is like, no, it's not. It's like nothing you've ever seen. And you're going to see the results of what Ash did very, very soon. Very soon. I would not be surprised. This is Marty DeCarmel, not the company. 3 or 4 million people joining a day one day. I don't know if you have a calculator, but you don't need one. That's disgusting amount of people. It's disgusting the volume that could happen. I don't know when, I don't know how. That's okay, it's irrelevant. We have the system and the ingredients of OnPassive. If you put them together, it equals second to none. It just does. And he knows that. He knew when he did it, as he's doing it, wow, we're going to be somewhere where nobody's been. And everybody's going to see it. And we're part of it, flat out. Ash could have done this with a handful of people and not gone through the headache of founders going out and not listening to what he wants them to do. Biggest headaches for Ash are people, founders. But it's getting better. No, it's getting better. But be really happy, because if you want to get there quicker, do it. Don't look at somebody and say, oh, man, look what he got. You could have it. No, there's no limitations on OnPassive. I don't care who you are. You can work on it right now. Right now, you can get ready and think different. Just think different. Because the problem you have is you. You're 100% right all the time, even if you're wrong. If you think you can't, you won't. If you think you can, you can. And OnPassive is that vehicle for everybody to fly like an eagle, without a doubt. And if you want to soar, why not soar? I'm 400 pounds. I want to freaking soar. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. I think all of us here, and a lot of you already know, is singing to the choir, but the limitations are your own. They're not real. OnPassive, you cannot outrun OnPassive. You can't outdo it. You can't outthink it. You can't everything's unlimited. Ask got in a company and find out what is the max you can make. Well, why do you want to know that? I don't want limits. What are you going to do? It's none of your business. You know what Ask's going to do? He's going to give it away. It's still nobody's business. So he set up a company that from A to Z is unlimited. The only limitation is us. It took me a while to see this, even at my small level. But I'm seeing it more and more every day. That's why when I hear the small stuff, I'm deaf to it. Can't even hear it. Look what this guy did. Look what this guy did. Oh, he said, I don't even care. I am the wrong guy to go to. Don't want to hear it. Don't care about it. Because we're in something grand. We're in something magnificent that we've never seen before. And you should enjoy it. Because 5 years down the road, you're going to go, I can't believe I was part of that. Jump to it now because you're part of that. And as said, we're going to own it. It wasn't talking about the internet. That's a done deal. It is everything. he said, we will change the planet physically. I thought, I don't know what that is, but it's big. Environmental, health-wise, everything. So we're very fortunate. And I really didn't have anything to say tonight, but I guess I really did. Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, Marty, I was going to say I'm a little disappointed tonight. I wanted to hear from you, and you were just too quiet.
Why don't we start with Collins and maybe do a couple 2-3 minutes and call it an evening? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I do want to mention that we had probably 70, 80, 90 guesses on where the background was, and there was probably 55 to 60 of them were right on. It was Harvard University. It looked like the law school, actually.
Which you already knew.
Well, I knew that, but I was told to keep my mouth,
I
zipped.
said, don't say a word.
So I did, but I knew it was Harvard, and it's really, if you ever, and once you get that time freedom, you got to stop by Boston, you got to stop by Cambridge and see Harvard. So let's over to you, Collins. It's getting late there.
Yeah, Maddie just blew my when you Maddie, Mike, and Chris, they just blow your mind until you don't even have something to say anymore. Just like it's just nice listening to them. Yeah, Maddie said something. We freedom, and Maddie have always been saying this. Repeatedly about don't sit idle, keep on doing what you are doing, learn more, attend webinars. Learn about OnPassive because there will be no time. And I always said this, I said, if you miss the journey, you miss the joy. Everything comes with it. You miss the journey of OnPassive, there is no way you can really think about it again, because when people be talking about the story, telling the story of OnPassive, you have nothing to say, because though you are a founder, you came in 2018, 2019, 2020, or whatever time you missed that part, everything, and you didn't even go back to look at it and listen to this guy, watch the webinar, or even YouTube, just to get an insight of what happened those days. Honestly, you just miss the journey, and you miss the joy, complete joy, because there are times that you come and say, oh my God, you come by, you say, and then Ash come and fire you up again. You say, wow, this is it again. A lot of times. And there was one thing Ash said, the last corporate webinar we had, the surprise one. Ash talk about, all right, we were supposed to go out on Friday, but little something happened, like it didn't pass through QA and stuff like that. I was so relieved, and I said, wow, this is good. It means these guys, they are picking up stuff. They are picking up stuff and they are really doing their job. I was like, wow, this is really great. To say, okay, get to QA, and they say, no, it's not going out, take it back. Means Ash doesn't have control over it. And there is no, time doesn't matter for me, as Mike Ellis always said. There is nothing, time doesn't matter. And someone asked a question, I said, but why? Then I put this before the person. I said, which one will you prefer? Time versus quality. Choose. And versus quality, of course. I said, so for eliminate time, if you prefer the quality and you want anything of this standard, then let's forget about the time, because in IT, you cannot put your finger on time. You put your finger on time, you'll be the biggest loser. You're making the biggest mistake, because they are just, the time that they give is just estimation. It's not tentative. It's just estimation. And if you come to me, you ask me, Collins, how long will it take you, to test this software? I can look at you, say, Maddie is my boss. Because I don't want to fail, I can tell Maddie 2 months. Though I know within me that it can take a week. What if I said a week and something goes wrong? That's how I start to think. Maddie will hold me for my word. And I say, you know what, Maddie can take it. Why? I said, because I need to do this, and I want to cover the unknown. What if there is unknown, something that I don't know? So I have to cover my back. And most of the times, when they come and tell the customers about time, the customer always take it as, it's real, it's a deadline, we need it. But no, it is wrong. It is not a deadline, it's just an estimation for you to be aware that we're doing something. And most of the senior engineers and directors, they've started coming up with theory saying they should eliminate time, just go and do the work. Forget about time. If the customer called, he said, I'm doing your work, just wait, when it's ready, I'll deliver it to you. But I cannot put my finger because they take it as a deadline and they cannot start it again because they put a lot of pressure on them. And so now is the time we always tell founder, forget about the time. When Mr. Mufareh comes out and said, we're getting it in a month time, add another month on top of it so you can have peace of mind. Just said, all right, Mr. Mufareh, you tell us about this month, I will add one more month. And if they come back and said, okay, we got it wrong, it is earlier than what we thought, and then you celebrate. Don't put yourself in a position where you'll be like, your blood pressure will go up. Just keep on doing what you are doing and then leave the time for Mr. Mufareh. When they come out, and all of us will celebrate. And to be honest, when the product come out, quality, better than everything, disruptive, nobody thinks about time anymore. Nobody thinks about the time. They just go on celebrating and they are happy, and this is what happens most often. So I always say, please don't think about the time. Just leave it. When Mr. Mufareh comes out and said, we are getting a month, just forget about it. Just said, all right, until I see it. I'll celebrate when I see it, because things can go wrong. Technology is, you can't control technology. It works. It's something that is automated and things can just go happen. Not like Mr. Mufareh or the tech team. You cannot blame anybody because you think about this and then it goes the way. We are all human beings and we are liable to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. So they can do something and then they discover, wow, I've seen this again. Let me fix it before it goes out. And Mr. said, okay, I give you the time, go and fix it. I'll go and talk to the founders and the customers. So he always takes the heat because he's the CEO. But to be honest with you, that's the job of a CEO, to take it and suck it in and tell you, you will wait because we are doing something great on your behalf. Because we have not paid more than $97. So we shouldn't complain. It's just $97. You wait until you see it, and whilst you're waiting, prepare yourself for the big things that will happen, because what will come out will blow our mind and we'll forget about the story. So I just want to thank you, Lynn. Just want to put that out there.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate you, Collins, as always. And Chris, let's hear from you. I know you had nothing earlier. Let's see what.
How can you make me follow Collins like that? I'd rather follow Mike Ellis right now after that speech you just gave. Nice words, Collins. And I'm just joking, Mike. The whole basis of the show went 100 different directions, which I love, because I sometimes I don't like always staying in one direction there. But as Marty was saying something, actually, when Mike, when Collins were all saying something, I think a lot of people, what they forget about is this big old, I call it a bingo barrel, right? Right now, Ash has got this big old bingo barrel of all these people that are signing up through OnPassive.com for the 3 free products. People are forgetting. Actually, a couple weeks ago, people were saying, how many does he have? I don't know. I don't care. But I had a lady call me the other day, a very nice lady. And she says, Chris, I don't have anyone on my team. I said, oh, yes, you do. You really do. You just don't know it. Listen, that big old bingo ball, roller, spinner, whatever you want to call it, if there's a name for it, you have no idea every day, every minute of the rest of your life, you might land on one of those rock star people we used to say when we started this. Maybe someone that knows 150,000 people. Maybe he's a big, as that one guy says, Red's nephew, YouTuber. Maybe you're going to get some guy that has a YouTube channel of 1 million people is going to see OnPassive, and he's going to be on your team through the rotated system. So that lady out there, I run to reassure her that you have more than nobody on your team, because you have no idea who's going to land under you. And that right now is giving me goosebumps, because a lot of us forget that. We have talked about going a little farther and doing more things to help yourself out. Marty's doing his videos. You got a lot of people making videos, getting their stuff out there, really cool stuff. But this is my mindset because I've worked for so many years. I'm thinking, I love the bingo game roller because you just don't know who that's going to be pulled out. And boom, you could have no one. Listen, this is the honest to God true facts. And Chris Johnson said it first. You can start on day one with your links with nobody on your team. After a week, after a day, after 3 weeks, after a month, Chris Johnson's saying this now, you might have 100,000 people because one of those guys that are maybe a big DJ, maybe a big politician, maybe someone that just has a lot of followers and people trust him. Well, not a politician. Scrap that part. But maybe a DJ, maybe a professional songwriter, maybe a singer, and boom. Next thing you know, Collins Manna has got 3 million people, and we just got our links a month ago. That's any one of you. So I know a lot of people like, Chris, I don't have nobody. Yeah, you do. You really do. And it's going to be so easy and beautiful. Now, will every one of us get a rock star? There's 8 billion people in the world. Any person you get is going to be a rock star. Do you get it? People are hungry right now for something new. People are hungry right now because they don't have the money to buy food. People are hungry for something different. People are hungry to get their time and freedoms back. OnPassive checks all those boxes. All right. But remember this, there's a whole bunch of people right now waiting for us to get our links. So bada bing, bada boom. You're signing up resellers, customers. Ash has got these physical products. He's got hardware. He's got these big buildings all over the world. Man, you're going to be getting smacked so much in the face with possibilities from OnPassive. You're going to cry a little bit, and that's okay. That's good, happy tears. But you have more than one person on your team. Right now, I want y'all to go to bed with the mindset, say this, Chris is right. Man, you realize if Ash puts it in the back office, we play with it for a couple weeks, and then boom, I might get one of those people that know millions of people. And bada bing, guess where you're sitting at? You're sitting at this isn't the American dream anymore. This is the global dream, guys. I don't know anyone in this world. We called it the American dream because we live in America. But let me tell you something. The rest of the world's got the same dream, time and freedom, family, love, passion. So think about that. There's a big old, I don't even know what you call that thing, but it's rolling these people around and they're checking out all these 3D products and they're thinking, okay, all of a sudden, bing, Rob got one. Oh, Lynn got 3. Marty got 4. Collins Manna got 100,000. Mike Ellis, he got a half a person. I don't know how that works, but that's how it works. But that's it. So don't be upset. Don't be grumpy. Stay happy because all this is coming your way. Whether you like it or not, there's no stopping it. And be ready. Get your catcher's mitt because you're going to need some protection with all the people coming at you. All right, RobLynn, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. And Mike, you got us started earlier. Take us home, brother.
Chris is he's absolutely correct. But what he needs to work on is the language of OnPassive, and we'll talk about that later. But he's 100% correct. We're where we need to be. You're where we need to be. And we've talked about so many things tonight. I want to end with this. I do want to come out and visit Harvard. Okay. And I want to test the cuisine. I've heard the food there is absolutely marvelous. And that's one of the things I want to do as the apples start to roll in. You know, we're all going to be traveling around the country, around the world. And I know there's just great cuisine everywhere we go. And I've heard so many great things about the East Coast, Northeast, that, I want to go there and have some seafood and clam chowder and some of those dishes that are just absolutely phenomenal that I've heard. Now, Dan's been there. He's told me, it's to die for. So I'll end with that. Just kind of a light note. Freedom. We're going to be able to travel, and I want to eat my way across the United States. So that's it for me, guys.
Mike, thanks for being here, and we hope you'll come back soon.
Yep.
I just wanted to mention one thing. 8 billion people, and what has Ash said, Chris? That everyone in the world on this planet is going to want or need a product of OnPassive. Now that's 8 billion customers, and that's without any population growth.
Look at the camera.
I'm looking at the camera.
He keeps
I
looking
promise
down.
I'm looking at the
Yeah, I
camera.
want him to look up. Okay.
So 8 billion, I think we'll get I got the elbow. You know that's right, Chris.
Because he looks down because he's thinking he's looking. I want him to look at the people. Look.
At any rate, you think you need 3, or are you going to get your 3? Think about what Chris said with the 8 billion. It's coming. It's coming for all of us. We're all very blessed. And thanks to everybody for being here. We stayed around 225 to 235 in
Yay.
terms of folks, plus you guys and us, and we like that. Anytime we're above 30, we don't think about the past. So it's been fun tonight, and if everybody on the panel would just stay around, you know what's coming, that famous Lynn's picture, or maybe 2 after we finish. So thanks again for being here. Tomorrow, I think we'll have Red at 11. Let's see. Oh, it's OnPassive 360. So Red at 11, maybe not Chris, because you're not an every 360 kind of guy earlier, and Marty DeGarmo at noon. Did I hit that pretty close? All right. So, and 360 to 2 p.m., right? Marty, Chris? Okay.
We
All
got
right.
it.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. All you attendees, we love you and we appreciate you. And we're going to see you at the new top. And it's days away.
All right. And everybody, the panel, stay, don't leave, but we'll say goodbye to our attendees, our family. Thank you all.
We'll see you guys.
See you tomorrow, same time.
Later.
same
Being
channel.
there.
See
8
ya.
o'clock. Don't be late. We'll see.